Lately I've been reading a lot of the messages you guys have been sending me, and a common theme is that a lot of you feel the same way that I did. You feel like the whole thing is happening to you, and you feel like a victim. And I really did feel like a victim, and in certain ways we may very well be. But what comes to mind now on the topic of feeling like something is being done to you and that you have no say over it and or no control over it and or no responsibility, what comes to mind is that it can keep you really trapped in this role of helplessness, in this space of inaction. If it happened to you and it wasn't your fault, it's not your fault that you feel this way, and it's not your responsibility to get you out of it. We can get sort of like in love with the loathing. I remember I had every right to be defeated, and so there I stayed, defeated. And one of the first steps to overcoming depression and that apathy and that hopelessness was just assuming some responsibility for the situation that I was in. We all do have circumstances. Some people's far more dire than others. I'm an extremely blessed person. My circumstance is fantastic, and yet I was still very depressed, and I had my reasons. And while sometimes, depression can be organic and very much a chemistry-based biological thing, other times we can be put into situational depressions for things that maybe we don't think should put us in there, but they do anyway. And it doesn't really matter what end of the spectrum you fall on. In my experience, if you claim that depression, if you accept that anxiety as being your own to battle, if you accept that you can't have someone work hard for you to get you out of it without you working even harder than them, then you're not going to be able to make any serious progress. Now, the good news for my very lazy, depressive folks, which is like everyone, because you feel lazy and you have no energy, time usually does a certain amount of work for you. But if you want to speed things up, if you want to take a deeper plunge into your recovery, you're going to have to accept some responsibility and assume some responsibility, if not for how you became depressed, at least for what you're going to do to overcome your depression and your anxiety. It really, really is on you. Nobody can save you. You're no parent, no friend, no mental health professional can work harder than you. It's up to you. Now maybe that is a piece of reality that you don't want to accept, you don't want to hear. I certainly didn't. I felt like the situation broke me. It needs to fix me. You did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. This wasn't on me, this is on you. Fix it. Look what you did to me. And then I got over that. I got tired of hurting, I got tired of blaming, and I started to want to assume some responsibility so that I could feel some pride again, so that I could feel some vitality, so that I could take control of something. That could start with really small things. And that first thing could be admitting that you had something to do with this, even if it's really small. Maybe your attitude made you vulnerable. Maybe your lifestyle made you vulnerable. Maybe choices you made, maybe thoughts you had, maybe things you did, maybe something you took, maybe a drug you smoked. Maybe you had something to do with why you're here. And the good news is you can have something to do with why you won't be here forever. Take it both ways. It's liberating. And it can allow you to let go of some of that anger. I mean, I had so much anger towards so many people for what they did to me. I so much anger at God, which I don't even understand still, but just the universe, God, like, why did you let this happen to me? And then I just accepted that it happened to me. And I stopped pointing the finger, and suddenly I was like open to the opportunity of getting out of it. And you'll have days where your motivation and your excitement and your enthusiasm will wane, and you'll have days where you relapse on those thoughts and those feelings. But if you can make a pact to yourself that today you're in charge of you, today you have something to do with you getting better, today you had something to do with the reason you're here, you have a chance now. You have a fighting chance. I hope that makes sense. Some of you are victims. In a way, I did get caught up in something that was beyond my control, but I wasn't completely blameless. And by the way, This is not an attack on anyone who has gone through horrendous things, who lives in horrendous conditions, who deals with abuse or deals with really terrible circumstances. I know those circumstances exist out there. I don't judge you, and I'm not saying that it's your fault that bad things are happening to you. I more just wanted to impress upon you the importance of making it your fault that you're getting better, your fault that you're overcoming. That's your fault now. Hope that makes sense.